Hello everybody, it is Tom and welcome to another video. So hello, it is Tom, back again. I don't know why. You may spy a Darla sitting in the beanbag chair behind me. She has just finished up her afternoon nap and will very shortly be pestering me to feed her, despite the fact that it is a full hour and 15 minutes before her usual dining time. So look forward to that. Yeah. So anyway, this is a video I've been wanting to make for a while, but I kept getting in my head about exactly how to do it. So we're just gonna charge on through and see what happens, and hopefully editor me can make something out of it. So good luck. As you may have guessed from the title of this video, this is a video about Dan and Phil. And you might not know who Dan and Phil are, and that's fine. I'm going to tell you. So the basic structure of this video is, I'm going to give you a little intro about who Dan and Phil are. Then we're going to look at some of my favorite videos that they've done recently, which they have 16 plus years of content. So if I made it all Dan and Phil videos of all time, we would be here for 1,000 years. So we're not going to do that, but you know, if people like this, I might do more videos like this in the future, because not gonna lie, Dan and Phil are my hyperfixation right now, and have been for a few months, so I don't mind at all talking about them. So, first order of business, who are Dan and Phil? Why, what a good question. So, Dan and Phil are Daniel Howell and Philip Lester. There, done, finished. No. They are two British YouTubers who have been around since the very early days of YouTube. Phil posted his first video in, I think, 2006 on YouTube.
Hi, I'm Phil. Welcome to my video blog.
And Dan a few years later in 2009.
So, my name is Dan.
They met each other online first, and they met physically a few months later in 2009 and did their first video together literally on the day they met.
Look at those babies!
Pause. Who are these fetuses?
We are just newborn.
So they had known each other for like 4.5 hours in person when they did their first video together. Throughout the course of their 16 plus year time on the internet, they have been the source of a lot of speculation as to the nature of their sexualities and their relationship with each other.
No. Whoa.
Why can't two bros just tackle each other, you
Everyone's
know?
like, that was an 11-hour fuck session. I think you were just being violent.
But then, in 2019, both Dan and Phil separately posted coming out videos on YouTube, coming out as gay. Technically, Dan categorizes himself as more queer than gay, but he uses that word, so we'll just use gay. And Phil is just gay. And then just this past year in October, they finally did a video admitting that they are together, they are boyfriends. So we will talk more about that later. So now let's get into my top 5 Dan and Phil videos from the recent era. I tried to say modern and recent at the same time, and it became recent. And by recent, I'm talking about things since they came out as being in a relationship. So post hard launch, essentially. Or well, we'll say hard launch onward. Spoilers. Okay, so these are in descending order, although to be honest, I love them all. I love all of their videos. I have not met a Dan and Phil video that I didn't like. Anyway, so number 5, we're just gonna go in. We're just gonna do it. It's gonna be fine. Okay, number 5 is, I just realized I don't know the actual names of these videos. So let me open up their YouTube channel. Okay, so number 5 is ordering a completely random 4-course meal. What they have done for this video and for one of the other videos we're going to look at later is that they have a rat named Ben.
So this is Ben.
Ben the brown rat.
So basically in this video, Dan and Phil have decided to allow a rat, Ben, to decide what they will order for meals. They do a starter, a drink, a main course, and dessert. And each time there are 3 options. One of them is a good option, one of them is a bad option, and one of them is just unhinged. It's just a wild thing. So they put the labels above each door and then let Ben choose a door, and whichever one Ben chooses, that's what they do.
Oh, he's going
Oh
towards...
my god, it's gonna be the wings.
He's
It's
gonna
gonna
go for
be
the
the
wings.
goddamn wings. Wait, oh, the one. It's fucking raw!
I'm not going to show too much of this video, but it is very good. I really like this video a lot. But the main reason, one of the main things that has kept me coming back to this video, it happens at the very end. So basically, they go through all the meals, and you know, sometimes they get good options, sometimes they get bad options, sometimes they get unhinged options. But when they get to dessert, now dessert is Phil's favorite thing. Phil loves sweets. He loves dessert. He is really looking forward to dessert.
Dessert.
Oh,
Phil's favorite course.
my favorite thing.
The sweet treat.
But also, Phil hates cheese. And the bad option is a cheese plate.
What is a fine French restaurant without the cheese trolley?
And wouldn't you know it,
Oh,
He nudged the wall!
it. Ben.
He nudged the wall and it opened door too!
Ben, no.
He hasn't seen it.
Ben, no.
He hasn't seen it.
Stay back. No. This is so unfair.
and Phil is devastated.
I'm so sad. Just order it, get it over with.
What do you need to do while this comes? Just
Meditate.
pray.
Hold the man ass.
Ah.
Clench the cheeks. Here's your emotional support pig.
Thank you.
He has been looking forward to the dessert for so long. It is the one bright spot in his day, and he has to, instead of getting dessert, he has to sit there and smell cheese and watch Dan eat the cheese that he cannot eat, and he gets a little grumpy. He's a little grumpy about it.
Oh, I can smell it already. No. Ah!
Sniff it. It smells like a cheesy raspberry.
How do people eat this? I'm so disturbed.
Have a cracker and shut up.
It's a cheese-flavored cracker. How is that stinky milk slab? Never been less attracted to you.
What if I feed you a grape seductively?
No, they're all fucking cheesy. You are sleeping in a different room tonight.
What'd you give it out of 5?
Minus 100,000.
But it came with raspberries.
Minus-
raspberries and crackers.
Fuck the raspberry.
But then, without telling him, Dan orders him the good option, the dessert. And Phil's reaction is beautiful. And just watching Dan watch Phil, it's great. Here, roll the clip.
Phil,
What?
do not lose hope.
Why? What have you got? More cheese?
Phil,
What's that?
it's your bonus round.
Bonus. Is this a nice or horrible?
Open it and find out.
What is it? Ooh. Oh my god.
Phil, as a special treat, I got you a deep-fried lotus biscoff bao bun.
Oh my god, you didn't. Holy shit, this is the sluttiest mess I've ever seen in my life. What's all the cream on
What madman deep fries a bao bun?
it? What is this all over it?
It is a luxury white chocolate sauce.
Holy shit. Oh, you knew I can't have chocolate and you got me the white chocolate one.
And I know that lotus biscoff is your favorite flavor.
Oh, you are redeemed for the cheese.
Ugh, I love it so much. One thing about Dan and Phil is that they make fun of each other a lot. There's a lot of banter. There's a lot of like putting each other down in a fun way, insulting each other. So when you get to see these little nuggets of like how much they actually care about each other and how much they want each other to be happy, it's really nice to see. So I love this moment from Dan.
We should make a coffee and watch a whole episode of Below Deck while eating that. We know how to live.
You just made me so emotional with that sentence.
Okay, moving on. Number 4. Okay, number 4 on my list is our anniversary London adventure with a rat. Yeah, so this is another Ben episode. They put down a map of London and they put little rat snacks on the different areas of London. And then they let Ben the rat loose on the map, and whichever areas he chose to eat from, that's where they would go.
Release.
Verodent. Okay, we're starting north. Nice
Okay.
and central. Ooh, Islington.
So they had planned like all these different possible adventures for all the different areas of London, and they ended up going to the ones that Ben chose. So I said before that I really like all of their content. I do. I love all their content. I love their gaming videos. I love their baking videos. I love their just story time videos when they're talking about wild things that have happened to them. I love their podcast, the Hard Launch podcast. But I've really enjoyed in this new era the videos of them like going out of their comfort zone, leaving the house, going out and doing things. And so you'll notice that a lot of those are represented here in my list. But yeah, for the record, I love all of their videos, and these are just the ones that I rewatch the most. Anyway, okay, so let's talk about the London adventure. So Ben chooses 5 boroughs, 5 places for them to go to. First, they go and have a proper English breakfast.
Here he comes.
See, I betray my country because I don't even like tea, but I thought I'd do it for today.
You have to.
It's not so bad.
It's just worse than coffee.
Yeah.
As far as full Englishes goes, it was pretty perfect.
It was delicious.
It was worth the hype.
I wouldn't have it every day, but if I, was
think
going...
you'd die if you had it every day.
I famously hate beans. I'm gonna have a single bean.
That is so extra.
No.
Get a grip.
Oh no.
I'm pregnant. The internet always dreamed of this day.
Oh my god. Next to the bins.
Gender reveal. Beans.
And then after that, they head off to the Meridian Line, and they take a boat to get there.
I thought we were going to be Titanicking up at the front, not sinking, you know, holding onto each other while we did this.
What in the 1% is going on here?
I think that's 0.1%.
Can we get some orcas up in here?
And it turns out that getting to the Meridian Line involves a bit of walking and a bit of an incline.
One must imagine Phil simply trying to climb a hill happy.
No.
It's too far.
No. Worth it for the view? He's not even looking. He's just
can't breathe.
collapsed in the background. Oh my god, Phil.
What?
They've pay-gated the line.
What?
Let me in. Let me in.
Dad said 2 adult tickets, please. The man said, you're not students.
See, you could have skin like Dan and Phil
Youthful.
if you simply don't go outside.
I gotta be real. I'm whelmed.
Yeah, make the most of it. The line's right there. Come on, yep.
And after their whelming experience at the Meridian Line, they head over to a stately home in Bexley.
Love a random ass stately home.
And so, you know, sounds nice, touring a stately home, but Phil, who presumably planned this adventure, did not mention to Dan that the main sightseeing spot of this stately home is a butterfly house.
Do you know what the one attraction is, Dan? He does not know what's going
Other than plants.
It is a butterfly house.
Oh, fuck off.
Dan is so scared of
I
butterflies.
am not scared.
I just need to be clear, I'm not afraid of butterflies. I just don't like things flying into my head, ear, or neck.
He's facing his fear.
Shut up.
He's sweating. The London Butterfly Gardens. Dan, you can't leave. You're leaving.
So, yeah, it's a fun time for Dan.
I'm fine, I'm relaxed. I'm like a Disney princess. I just need to be clear, I'm not afraid of butterflies. I just don't like things flying into my head, ear.
So after Dan has overcome the trauma of the butterflies, they head on over to visit the London Eye, which is, for anyone not familiar, a big Ferris wheel in London.
There she blows. Or wheels.
And when they get there, some interesting things occur.
And when we get in there, we realize not only are we alone, but basically they thought it would be funny knowing that Dan and Phil turned up to upgrade us to the Cupid's Pod experience.
Based on the recent news,
I feel like there's some shenanigans happening.
There's something's happening.
What is the tea here?
So we've actually upgraded you guys to the Cupid's Pod.
Oh my god.
Some champagne.
No, is that the wicker bag? Oh my.
They gave us champagne, white chocolates, which Phil can eat.
They researched me.
And yeah, the idea of trying to enjoy a lovely romantic time with your partner whilst the staff is stood behind you awkwardly, like I'm not sure how nice that would be.
Big Ben, more like small Ben. I'm sorry.
Who laughed? Don't encourage him.
Other places that they visit during their London adventure, they go to a vagina museum, which is very cool.
How exactly are we going to put that on YouTube?
That's a great question.
I actually thought this place was pretty radical.
Yeah.
It was educational, it talked about healthcare around the world, it was trans-inclusive.
Yeah, I think any vagina owners or vagina allies would have a great time and take something from it.
Perhaps the merch.
I never got my plushy vagina.
What about your flippin' fallopians?
Oh yeah.
That was actually really cool.
They also go to neon life drawing.
We emailed this in advance just to be like, hi, is it okay if we film here? Because there's obviously naked people.
And we made it clear to them that we can't show anything.
When you walk in and there's just a naked lady there, though.
We'd already been plied with drinks at this point, so we just decided to roll with it.
That helped a little bit.
Just having one of the nerves.
Situation.
Yeah.
I've never really looked at a naked woman for that long before. They're beautiful.
They also go to a vampire-themed bar.
I can smell the garlic already.
Now, I thought I wasn't hungry, but then I saw it and went, you know what? Get it in me.
There are so many shots on the menu.
100.
It's like having a shot of a garlic bread.
I could taste the spice and the garlic and the vodka.
Basically, this whole experience is just them getting progressively drunker throughout the day.
We felt like we had to try at least one more shot, so I went for the Black Death.
And I went for the lizard, which I was hoping would be green, but it wasn't.
Yeah, I'm sorry if anyone was inappropriately watching this thinking about Dan and Phil's romantic day. This is when it died.
It sounds like they had a good time, and it's a really fun video to watch, both for their humor and just to see around London. So, okay. Video number 3. My sleeve is weird. Anyway, video number 3. My number 3 choice is Dan and Phil try ghost hunting. Dun dun dun. As you might imagine, this video came out during the Halloween season, and it is wonderful. I would say on the spook meter, like, it's not super scary. Most of it is just very funny. They do encounter some spooky happenings throughout the course of their experience, but mostly it's just a very fun video to watch. If you've ever seen ghost hunting on YouTube, a lot of the time it's very overblown and like making a big deal out of nothing. This isn't that kind of video. So basically, Dan is the skeptic, as you would assume. Phil is the one who believes in ghosts, and off they go.
I've dragged Danny over here to one of England's most terrifying and haunted lands, the Wicken Fen. I just fell over there.
Phil, seriously.
There's a hole said to be haunted by the lantern men who will drown lost trespassers.
Or clumsy twinks.
Or
So they go to investigate. They talk to a very nice person at the visitor center about the history of the place.
the tragic true story of Joseph Bexfield. In 1809 on a misty night.
Oh, did you go to school with him?
Yes, he left a pub to shortcut across the fen.
Oh, it's always a frickin' guy being like, I know a shortcut, isn't it?
Yeah.
Classic.
His friends begged him to stay, as someone reported seeing the flickering of lanterns in the swamp. He didn't listen, as he said he knew the marshes like the back of his hand, mate.
Yeah.
He was never seen alive again. Taken by the lantern men.
And then at night, after dark, they go wandering around the fen with ghost hunting equipment and just see what they find.
Good luck, guys.
Okay, thank you. Bye.
Bye.
That was the cheerio of someone that knows he is never going to see us again.
And with that, we were left abandoned and alone in the bog.
Ready to hunt those men.
Or fall in some peat and die.
Was it not kind of warm before? A balmy evening. Look at this now.
Yeah, the sunset.
No. I am actually, to be genuine, quite scared being out in a foresty area at night. So this is...
Yeah, I think that there are plenty of real things to be scared of. That is 12 Lantern Avenue right there. Go on, Phil. Just knock on his front door.
No.
No?
Will you say yes?
No. Okay, right. Let's go somewhere else.
First of all, well, Phil keeps almost walking into the bog.
Is this the path?
Phil, stop.
What?
That's the fucking
Oh my God.
bog right there.
That's the bog.
Can you stop stepping backwards and almost tripping?
Why would they put a path here?
Phil, this is a nature reserve. Oh my God, we almost fell in it again.
Frickin' swamp there, Dan.
Stop.
A lot of the video is them getting freaked out by birds and like other animals making noises.
Oh, can you not do that, Mr. Bird?
We're getting up in the owl's business right now. Sorry.
What?
Oh my
Oh my God.
I just fully. What are you doing? Sticking. Respect space.
You scared me to death then.
Ew, I just walked into a spider web.
Oh my God.
I swear to God, who needs Five Nights at Freddy's when you got birds?
I don't like it. Oh my God. Dan!
But there are some genuinely like, things that happen.
Why?
Unlike other stories of ghost lights, folks claim to know what drives the lantern men of the wicked fen.
What? Oh, we've got a motive.
They
Okay, what is it?
are vengeful spirits that wish to squash any joy that might be found on any dreary fens. Why? Because whistling, one of the only things to entertain yourself while traveling alone. Oh my God.
What?
It's frickin'. Did you see that?
Why
When I
is
said
it-
whistling, it went red. No!
Right, no more EMF reader. It's a shack, Phil. Nothing good has ever happened by going into an abandoned shack.
I'm not going in the shack.
I feel like we've got to do it for the content.
Dan, give us a whistle. No, wait, stop it.
Shut the
Look, it's still doing it.
That's a coincidence, okay? I did not Katniss Everdeen the Lantern Men.
They keep getting some weird EMF readings that line up with the things they're saying or doing, which is interesting. And also there's a moment where Phil has a spirit box on, which if you don't know what a spirit box is, it's basically like a radio where you tune the stations and you're supposed to be able to potentially pick up ghostly messages through it.
The spirit box.
Oh, you did not buy one of those things off the internet.
Yes.
And it's like running through the different stations just on automatic. And Dan is like, turn that thing off. So Phil hits the button.
Wait, Phil, you paused it, and it was on frequency 666.
Oh, shut up!
Guys,
No.
that was going for like a solid minute.
I didn't know.
The second
I swear.
it paused on 6.
I don't like it.
It stops on 666. So they're both like, ah. Yeah, and then also later they actually spot something in the distance that looks like the light of the Lantern Men, which according to science is like the swamp gases and things like that.
Or is it over? Well, wait.
Don't say wait. What?
Do you see a green light in the distance? Wait. I need an iPhone. Hold
Wait,
this. Don't
okay.
stop recording.
I just saw something. I just saw a little dot. A flash.
Wait.
What is that?
What?
No. That's him.
In any case, you should watch it. It's a really good video. You should watch the whole thing because it is peak Dan and Phil. All right. Video number 2. And this video, I think I have rewatched this video more than any other video of theirs because I love it a lot. So this video is called Dan and Phil $25 versus $10,000 hotel. So there are 2 hotels, 2 options here. One of them is a very, very, very cheap capsule hotel where you are literally sleeping in like, it's just the bed and it's a little bunk and that's all you get. The other one is a residence at the Four Seasons London where it is like, it has multiple floors, it has so many rooms, it's huge, it costs like $10,000 a night. So those are the 2 options. And they randomly choose who gets which experience, Dan or Phil, using some gender reveal things where like you pull in it and confetti comes out. And so let's see what happens there.
And the question is, Phil, swap or no swap?
I want to swap. I don't like the feeling of mine. I want this one.
You just straight up swapped. Okay.
Wait, yeah.
That's spooky.
3, 2, 1. Oh!
What did I do to deserve this?
I'm gonna be so cozy.
I am 6'3". I don't want to get in a frickin' box.
Who wants to go to the Four Seasons London?
Are you fucking serious?
Me! So I took a shot and emailed the Four Seasons with this video idea, and it turns out the person that worked there watched our videos, and they said the next time that hotel room was empty, we could just stay there for free. Someone took my suitcase and then took me to a glass elevator where I went to the 4th floor and was greeted by a magical book which had the lore of the hotel. And then at the end of the corridor, I saw my room, Residence 1. My case is already here? How did they do that? No. Oh my gosh. What the helly? This is insane. We've got living room 1 for your meetings about when you're gonna sit in living room 2.
Stepping down the eerie but tastefully decorated corridor, I was just seeing other people's stuff, the murmurings and shufflings of guests out of view. And lo, I found my hole. I'll be real, it looked like a kennel, and I felt like a dog getting into it, a naughty dog.
The fuck?
Now, I will be honest, it was kinda nice. I mean, yeah, it's small, but it's got a nice wood interior, clean white sheet, bigger bed than I expected. It was long enough to fit an entire Dan, which was the main thing.
The great air pipe. Coat hanger for coat, short coat. And then we have this. All right, well, thank you for joining me today.
Now, I love this video, not only because it's just a very funny and interesting concept, but also because, like, I really relate to Dan in so many ways. And Dan's experience in the capsule hotel just brings that home for me.
The noises of the other people, it was awkwardly quiet. I felt very socially anxious, afraid to make a move, afraid to leave. At one point I rolled up my shutter. I saw someone's feet stood right in front of me. I nearly shit myself and had a panic attack. So I shut my shutter and I sat there for about 20 minutes until the footsteps went away. It was now time to venture to the group showers. And how do I put this? There were a lot of showers. It felt like I was a human being farmed for meat. I hadn't brought any shampoo or conditioner and I wasn't sure whether the dispensary was body wash or what, so I gave it a toot. I just felt so embarrassed, and the noises from the other people, I couldn't do it. I couldn't get naked there. I couldn't dry myself in front of the mirrors, so I ran. I ran in shame back to my kennel like a bad dog.
But the best thing about this video is where it ends up.
I'm not gonna lie, being in such a huge echoey hotel room is incredible, but I also feel slightly lonely just because it's so big and I'm such an experience sharer.
I just started to think about Dan in his little box, and I was here in this massive palace, and I just thought that the challenge started to feel a bit mean, and I didn't want to do it anymore. I just wanted to have a fun time.
So the idea, the whole premise of the video is that they both spend the night in their respective places. And Dan has resigned himself to doing this.
Is this a luxury 5-star experience? No. But guys, I got my Pocky, I got my Cheetos, I've got my boba, I've got Formula 1 race highlights on YouTube. This is all I need.
And then Phil, who has been enjoying this luxurious space, calls him. Well, FaceTimes him.
Why are you calling me?
I just wanted to check in to see how you're doing. This place is huge.
What the fuck is that?
I keep finding new rooms. I had a bath. How are you doing?
This is how I'm fucking doing.
Oh my god.
I'm too scared to leave my cube to piss.
Great.
So I think I'm just going to stay trapped in my cube, hold it in, and then just try to wake up and run, basically.
I was looking at the room service menu and I felt a bit lonely, so Dan.
What?
We have to cancel the challenge.
What do you mean we have to cancel the chat? What the hell does that mean?
I can't, this is too cool. This is like a once in a lifetime hotel room.
What are you saying?
Who wants to come to the Four Seasons London? Yes.
What about the video?
I don't care. Pack your bags. You're gonna come here. We're gonna get room service.
What's on the menu?
Everything. And you can piss. You can piss without being scared of men. And you could even have an egg bath. Okay, that felt like the right decision. Sorry we're cancelling the challenge, but I mean, look at it. I can't do this by myself. Welcome to my crib.
Oh my god, what the fuck?
What is that?
It's my boba, Phil. It's the only thing that I had. I was clinging onto this for dear life. What the fuck? Oh my god, it keeps going.
Yes.
I couldn't do this in my room.
What's in there?
What? Oh my god, I didn't see that.
What do you mean you didn't see? It's just a fucking shoe cupboard, isn't
I
it?
don't know.
I see light.
No. Oh my god. I can't believe I didn't see this early.
Wait, what's happening? Holy shit.
Look at this.
You have a fucking terrace?
No.
Oh
Wow.
my god.
We need to clink again. We're so lucky we get to experience stuff like this.
Yeah, so this video is just, I really enjoy both of their experiences here, but I love that we get to see the two of them spending it together at the end. Okay, so moving on to my number one top video of Dan and Phil in the hard launch era, it will come as no surprise that it is their actual hard launch video, which is called Are Dan and Phil in a Relationship? The Truth. To lead into this video, I want to show a few clips from Dan and Phil's original coming out videos. As I mentioned earlier, in 2019, Dan and Phil both came out as gay in separate videos. Dan's was first. It's an excellent, excellent video. It's quite long. It's like 45 minutes long, but it is a beautiful, beautiful video and funny, like beautiful, funny, heart-wrenching, all the emotions, and just extremely well done. So you should definitely check it out. Actually, that video is the reason why I found out about Dan and Phil in the first place. Like I was not a fan back in the day because I don't think I even used YouTube back then very much, but I found out about Dan and Phil because when Dan came out and released that video, I saw a headline about it somewhere on social media and I was like, oh, this is interesting. And I watched it and I was like, this guy is hilarious and I really like him a lot. So I started watching his other videos and then I found the Dan and Phil Games channel and that's how I learned about Phil and like that's how it all came to be. But in any case, it is a beautiful video. So we're going to look at a few little highlights from that video that sort of inform what is to come in the hard launch video. But before we do that, okay, so Dan uploaded a 45-minute video about coming out and then a few weeks later, Phil uploaded his video coming out, which was a little bit shorter.
Hi, I'm gay. Ow.
Okay, so it wasn't actually that short. It's actually 7 minutes long. Okay, so let's look at some of the highlights of Dan's coming out video.
And this is when, through the magic of the internet, I met Phil. And obviously we were more than friends, but it was more than just romantic. This is someone that genuinely liked me. I trusted them, and for the first time since I was a tiny child, I actually felt safe. And the relationship we formed at that point was something that I needed in my life. We are real best friends, companions through life, like actual soulmates. Not that souls are a real thing that exists. It's so lucky to just find someone you can be that compatible with, and especially to anyone that has experienced the kind of self-hatred that I've dealt with. One person accepting you can make all the difference. And I bet so many people want to know so much more about that, but here's the thing. I'm somebody that wants to keep the details of my personal life private. Icons of masculinity aren't really a big part of my life. Might as well call me a fucking formless blob, that sounds more relatable. Shout out to all my formless blobs out there, rise up! I don't have to do anything or be anything, and I personally wouldn't feel offended if I wasn't referred to as a he. If you want to use language to express your honest feelings and identity, that's great, and other people should respect what you say. Likewise, if you hate labels and you just want to be a formless blob, that's fine too. No one should force you. The only thing that isn't cool is telling other people what they should or should not identify as, because that ain't your problem or your business. But to come full circle, I know that even today, deep in my heart, the word gay scares me, because that's how I've been conditioned my whole life. So you know what? Fuck the literal definition and the scientific definition and what everyone thinks. I finally have to just confront and accept this. I'm gay. Oh look, didn't spontaneously fucking combust. Well, there we go. That was a lot of stress about nothing, wasn't it? Bloody hell. So yep, I'm here, I'm queer, and don't worry, I'm still filled with existential fear.
So all of this leads us into the hard launch video. And as I said, it's called Are Dan and Phil in a Relationship? The Truth. This video is so good. Even if you don't, even if you've never heard of Dan and Phil, I recommend watching it. It's more of like a documentary style, kind of similar to Dan's coming out video. It has chapter markers. They put so much work into this video, and they talk about so many different things, especially related to parasocial relationships, the pressure that they faced from fans, why it was so difficult for them to come out, how harmful it is when fans push celebrities to come out as something when they're not ready. So I'm just gonna play some of the clips that really spoke to me in this video, but I highly encourage you to go watch the whole thing because it is really good. Watching the video.
Let's get this over with.
Yep.
Are Dan and Phil in a relationship?
Yes.
All right, bye.
You want some fan proof? I'll give you some fan proof. Dan, Phil, 2009 October, met in Manchester, where they filmed a video for the first time and did the pin-off tackle. No one would do that unless they were in love. Dan also professed his love for Phil in a tweet, but then he said he was bi on Form Spring. The next time they met, dressed as a cat and bear for Halloween, where Phil, 1 week later, was sat on his neck. It's a fucking hickey.
Because it got so loud that we couldn't ignore it, we were being left with a choice of either address it or suppress it. And multiple times, I spoke up about it.
Squishy.
Such as the very, very infamous to this day tweet,
Oh no.
FYI, I like vagina. Which is a thing a totally straight person would say. That's how you talk about people that you're sexually attracted to, right?
Completely normal. Yeah, Dan, you totally convinced everyone you were straight. Yeah.
But hey, who's to say as a gay man that I don't? Some of the most handsome boys I've ever met have vaginas.
True. There we go.
I was right the whole time.
This added fuel to the fire.
Oh, I made it completely worse.
You fanned
And
the flames.
For the most toxic people, it just made them hate me because me trying to deny it was getting in the way of their fun.
Yeah.
They wanted nothing more than for fan to be real, and me saying no meant that it was like I was some evil showrunner that was stopping their favorite character from having the gay storyline that they wanted. Except I'm not the writer of the Dan show. I am literally Dan! The rumors and the mystery and stuff, and the relationship could have been anything, but I just assumed, well, to assume makes an ass out of you and me. And I am not a bottom.
Whoa. Right, but we are openly gay and have been living with each other for 15 years, so it feels kind of like a fair assumption.
Oh, totally. I mean, what else are people supposed to think? I agree. So in my mid-20s, I felt we had to hide the relationship because I was still hiding who I was to my friends, family, myself.
I knew this was all very sensitive, uncomfortable, and scary for you, so I kind of just wanted to give you time to figure out what you wanted to do.
Well, thank you for being patient for so many years.
That's okay.
This is why all of the digging from people online hit a nerve, because Phil was my safe space. You know, you were my first boyfriend. And not just like, oh, some guy, that's a good thing to tick off, but you were nice. I was fun.
I tried.
As well. Not only did I feel accepted for who I was for the first time, but I was like, wow, when we're hanging out together, this is great.
We had a lot in common.
Life is fun. You were like a literal ray of light in my life back then, even when you had black hair, which absorbed all of it, like really long black hair.
Ironic.
And what we had was the most important thing to me, and I wanted to protect it. So when other people tried to grab it and drag it into the light, I felt completely violated. Having all of these people trying to out us and being so hostile to me when I tried to hide it was so triggering. Honestly, it could have killed me. There were points where I just thought, maybe I'd be happier without all of this.
Yeah. How sad would that be to let the bad guys win? We have so much fun, and what I had to keep reminding Dan was, it's only a small minority of the audience.
You're right.
I'm right.
But also, a lot of the bad guys weren't bad people.
No.
They were just young people that had absolutely no idea what the effects of their actions were or how bad and triggering it was for someone with my backstory.
The irony is, I wouldn't have minded talking about this a lot earlier. I mean, you've got issues, I've got less.
Do you forgive me for years of dealing with my bullshit?
I don't think I need to forgive you. It's not something I'm forgiving.
Well,
I accepted it.
I'm sorry that you couldn't have just had a normal homosexual. I mean, not that
I'm not a normal homosexual.
But Dan and Phil, was it always gay?
Yep. The whole time.
We fell into it hard and fast in 2009, and here we are almost 16 years later.
Stop telling me how long it was. So yeah, relationship, boyfriends.
Whatever you want to call it. Not whatever you want to call it.
No.
Did we ever call it
We've
anything?
never called it anything.
It was so fast that we never labeled it.
I don't think there's many examples of people that have been so scrutinized that have still stayed together.
We survived our hiatus.
A lot of it's probably shared trauma, because like, who the hell else can relate?
We
are just more compatible with each other day to day than anyone we will ever meet.
This does not mean we're going to turn into couple vloggers in bed or being like romantic on camera.
No, that is not yours. What we want to do is create content to make you laugh. That is what we are giving, and we're hoping that you're gonna be happy with that. So this is a commitment, not like marriage to each other, but to you.
Dan doesn't believe in marriage.
Look, I just have a problem with anything that people are supposed to do.
If something is popular or normal, Dan does not want to do it on principle.
Hell yeah, I'm difficult.
And I'm too easygoing.
You're too disorganized.
I just don't care.
Piece of paper, what are you gonna do with that? Eat it, probably.
We're leaving the past behind, and that means enough of this bed. Oh my God. Thanks, Dan. I was not ready for that.
Yeah, so that is hands down my favorite of the recent Dan and Phil videos. And it's just a masterpiece. Like, you should watch it. It's really good. Okay, now as I said, I love all of their videos, and there are so many videos in the recent era, even before they hard launched, that are just A++. Now, I didn't include any episodes of their podcast in this list because I feel like that's a different category. I did want to give honorable mention to a certain story that Dan told recently on the podcast. And this is yet another example of me relating perhaps too much to Dan. Basically, what happened was Dan was late for a dentist appointment. The dentist's office was within walking distance, but because he was already late, Dan decided to call a rideshare to take him to the dentist. And that is where the magic began.
So I run downstairs and then I immediately think, okay, socially awkward. I am going to get judged by this Uber driver.
Yes.
Because he's going to be like, you lazy bitch. How dare you? And I'm very uncomfortable with the idea of being judged by this person who I'm going to know for 28 seconds and then never speak to again. And this is when I decide to do a little white lie.
Okay.
A harmless fib. So I'm stood on the corner, I get into his car, and I go, yes, you may see this is quite a short journey. You see, I sprained my ankle. What? If you were getting a 1 minute Uber journey,
I get it.
It's because I've hurt myself.
I get it. It's just slightly weird.
I get to the dentist. I'm about to be perfectly on time. I get out of the car, and he doesn't move. I'm waiting for him to pull away. He doesn't. I decided I now need to commit to the bit and hobble across the street as if I am someone that is indeed injured. And I'm just thinking, he can see me out of the window, so I need to keep doing this.
Yeah.
I open the door to the dentist office. Receptionist is there, and he saw that I hobbled in.
Oh no.
He asks, "Are you okay?" And this is when I make my third choice.
No, don't lie again.
I go, "Yeah, sorry that I am late. You see, the reason why I hobbled in was I fell off a bike." So him being a normal, empathetic, polite human being says, "Oh my God, are you okay? Why did you still come to your dentist appointment?" And then I'm thinking, yeah, okay, well, maybe this was very weird. I go, "No, I'm fine." The dentist comes out of the office. "Mr. Howell, are you ready?" And then the receptionist, being normal, looks at the dentist and goes, "Oh my God, he fell off his bike." And she goes, "Are you okay? How?" And I'm just like, no, don't ask me how.
How did it happen?
I got hit by a car. But I was like, not in a bad way.
Dan.
Obviously, the dentist, being normal, goes, "You got hit by a car?" And I go, "A little bit."
But yeah, if you haven't listened to or watched any episodes of their podcast, the Hard Launch podcast, it's hilarious and very much worth watching. It's been rough times lately. Like, the world is going through a period of many awful things happening at once, and it's easy to feel helpless and depressed and awful a lot of the time. And a lot of the time I do feel awful and hopeless and depressed. But something that always lifts my spirits is a Dan and Phil video. I've been clinging to these Dan and Phil videos like a life preserver over the past few months, and they've really helped me to feel a little bit lighter when terrible things are going on. So if you need something that's gonna lift your spirits and like just some lovely, weird, wonderful queer boys to spend some time with, I highly recommend Dan and Phil. I'm going to include links to the Dan and Phil videos that I talked about in the description, so definitely go watch those original videos if you like and if you can. Give them some love. For you, in the comments, if you are a fan of Dan and Phil, what are your favorite videos? What are your top 5 or whatever? If you're not a fan of them, did you enjoy any of these? Do you think you'll go watch some more of their videos? I don't know. Or maybe what is something that has been a life preserver to you during these ridiculous and uncertain times? I don't know. Tell me about it in the comments. All right. Well, now there's nothing left for me to do but wrap this up and then try to edit this video, which is going to be interesting. Thank you so much for watching. Huge thanks, as always, to our patrons who are amazing, wonderful, fantastic, spectacular, astounding, and a special shout out to our Nick Nelson members, Paul Z, Kim Engel, Angela Mondragon, Tanya, Kent Smither, and Vrodo. All right, that's going to do it for this video. Have a wonderful rest of your day or night or whatever time of day it may happen to be. I'll see you next time. All right, bye. Why am I pointing? Finger guns? Finger guns. This is nothing. This is finger guns. Okay, bye.